Satellite images can't see underground, but leaked blueprints just exposed what Russia was never supposed to reveal. For decades, Russia's nuclear infrastructure stayed buried and silent, until leaked documents and satellites finally exposed what's really being built. And this is where the story really begins. Out in a flat, empty stretch of land near the southern edge of the Ural Mountains sits a small Russian town most people have never heard of. Yasny. No landmarks, no cities nearby, just steppe, wind, and silence. But beneath that silence is one of the most important nuclear locations on Earth. Yasny is one of only 11 launch zones where Russia keeps its land-based strategic nuclear missiles. This isn't storage. This isn't a backup. These are active launch sites sitting on alert every single day. And in recent years, Yasny became even more critical because it's now home to silos equipped with Russia's Avangard hypersonic glide vehicle, a system specifically designed to evade missile defenses by traveling at extreme speeds while maneuvering mid-flight. For decades, the outside view barely changed. Satellites showed the same familiar patterns: circular silo lids embedded in the ground, a handful of low buildings, fencing, and watchtowers standing like sentinels. Analysts could count silos, track vehicles, and monitor surface activity, but that was it. Everything important stopped at the roofline. But around 2010, something shifted. The bases didn't just get upgraded, they were torn apart and rebuilt. Old Soviet-era layouts vanished. New structures appeared. Security zones expanded outward, sometimes hundreds of meters farther than before. Multiple layers of electric fencing went up. Hardened entry points replaced simple access roads. New buildings appeared where nothing stood before. And this isn't cosmetic. These missiles can reach targets in Central Europe in under 10 minutes. There's no warning buffer, no margin for error. That response time alone changes how entire defense systems think and react. Yet even with all that, the biggest question remained unanswered. Satellites can see fences, they can see roofs, they can see shadows. They cannot see underground. And that's exactly where the real story was hiding. And then something happened that nobody expected. Not a defector, not a spy satellite, not a whistleblower in uniform. Instead, the breach came from paperwork. Investigative journalists from Danwatch and Der Spiegel uncovered more than 2 million Russian military procurement documents sitting inside what was supposed to be a controlled system. Construction tenders, material orders, technical specifications, and buried inside those files, the thing intelligence agencies dream about: original blueprints, not summaries, not estimates, actual architectural drawings of Russia's most sensitive nuclear facilities, floor-by-floor layouts, tunnel routes, power distribution paths, security system placements, the kind of detail that normally never leaves a classified vault. What makes this even more shocking is that Russia had already tried to shut this door. In 2020, Moscow tightened its procurement secrecy laws and created a closed military tender database, accessible only to approved contractors. On paper, leaks like this were supposed to be impossible, but they kept happening anyway. Construction firms continued uploading sensitive attachments to public-facing systems. Some of these blueprints were added as recently as 2024. Nobody caught it. Nobody stopped it. When nuclear weapons expert Hans Christensen saw the material, his reaction was blunt. He called it completely unprecedented. Not because Russia was modernizing, everyone already knew that, but because for the first time, outsiders weren't guessing anymore. They were walking through the buildings on paper, step by step, all the way underground. This wasn't speculation. It wasn't a theory. It wasn't reading between satellite pixels. It was construction-level truth. And once those blueprints surfaced, the underground world stopped being invisible. Now here's where it gets genuinely unsettling. The leaked documents don't just show that Russia is building underground. They show how deep, how connected, and how deliberate it all is. These bases aren't isolated bunkers. They're networks. Underground tunnels link multiple buildings together, allowing personnel and equipment to move without ever surfacing. Reinforced concrete corridors run beneath the soil, thick enough to survive blasts and shock waves. Heavy explosion-proof doors seal off sections like compartments on a submarine. Even the windows and ventilation shafts are hardened. And then there's the infrastructure beneath the infrastructure. The blueprints map out electrical grids, where power comes in, how it's routed, and what systems depend on what. They detail water supply lines, heating systems, and ventilation paths designed to keep people alive in sealed environments for extended periods. Control rooms are clearly marked, so are backup systems. But the part that makes this feel disturbingly real isn't the weapons, it's the people. The documents describe dormitories where soldiers sleep, dining halls where they eat, toilets, showers, gyms. There are lists of exercise equipment, treadmills, hand weights, notes about recreation rooms, even board games, chess, checkers. Signs on the walls spell out rules for shoe care and reminders of the military oath. This isn't a doomsday bunker waiting for an apocalypse. This is a place meant to be lived in, day after day, while the world above continues like normal. And that's exactly why experts are alarmed. A former Western military intelligence officer summed it up perfectly. This is the ultimate intelligence. Because when you know where the power runs, where the air flows, and how systems connect, you don't need to destroy everything. You just need to find the right weak point. So let me ask you this. If you could see the underground layout of your enemy's most protected sites, what would that change? And remember, this is just the beginning. And just when you think the underground construction is the scary part, the security systems take it to another level. These bases aren't protected by a single fence or a couple of guards with rifles. They're wrapped in layers. Triple electric perimeter fencing runs around the outer edge, designed not just to keep intruders out, but to detect them instantly. The ground itself is wired with seismic sensors, capable of picking up vibrations from footsteps or vehicles long before anyone reaches a building. Add radiation sensors, and the base knows when something is wrong, even if no one says a word. Inside, alarms aren't basic motion detectors. They use infrared and magnetic systems, tracking heat, movement, and even door integrity in real time. And if something triggers those alarms, the response isn't human hesitation. It's automated force. The documents describe remote-controlled machine guns, automatic grenade launchers, and integrated air defense systems tied directly into the base's sensor network. No shouting, no warnings, just systems designed to react faster than a person ever could. What really stands out, though, is the internal surveillance. The blueprints don't just mention cameras. They specify exact placements, angles, and coverage zones inside the buildings and underground corridors. Nothing moves without being seen. And here's the key point most people miss. These bases are built to keep functioning during a nuclear conflict. Power, air, water, command, all hardened, all redundant. This isn't storage. This is survivability engineering. But Yasny isn't an isolated case. Not even close. Satellite imagery shows similar upgrades unfolding across a nationwide network of sites, each playing a specific role in Russia's nuclear posture. In Osipovichi, new triple fencing, rail access platforms, and covered handling areas have appeared. Analysts believe the site is now fully prepared to receive tactical nuclear warheads, even if they aren't stored there permanently. Nearby facilities for Iskander missile systems show fresh construction and active use. Up north, Gadzhievo tells a different story. Here, nuclear warheads are stored inside mountain-carved bunkers with infrastructure designed to load ballistic missiles onto submarines. Satellite images have even captured warheads being moved by crane in the past, a rare glimpse into the sea-based leg of Russia's nuclear triad. Then there's Kaliningrad. Underground bunkers have been excavated, rebuilt, and reburied. Security layouts match known nuclear storage depots, and analysts suspect the site can support Iskander-capable nuclear payloads, right on NATO's doorstep. In the Far East, Kamchatka is being reshaped to support the Poseidon nuclear torpedo, a weapon designed to operate underwater, far from traditional missile defenses. And in the Arctic, Novaya Zemlya shows new tunnels and support buildings near historic testing grounds, suggesting preparations for future test-related activity. Different regions, different roles, one coordinated underground strategy, and then there's the place that's fueled rumors for decades. Mount Yamantau rises quietly in the Ural Mountains, unremarkable on the surface. But beneath it, U.S. intelligence has long claimed lies a massive underground complex unlike anything else in Russia. Satellite imagery from the post-Soviet years showed enormous excavation projects, rail lines leading straight into the mountain, entire closed military towns nearby, reportedly housing tens of thousands of workers. The scale alone raised alarms. So what's down there? Over the years, Russia has offered different answers. A mining facility, a food storage site, strategic reserves. Sometimes no answer at all, just silence. Western analysts believe Yamantau could serve as a nuclear war command center, a leadership survival bunker, or a strategic storage hub designed to operate if Moscow itself became uninhabitable. The design fits an old Cold War concept: continuity of government, ensuring command survives even after catastrophic attacks. And whether every claim is true or not, one thing is clear: Russia never stopped planning for the worst-case scenario. So why push all this forward now? The timing matters. Russia's war in Ukraine has heavily strained its conventional forces, tanks, vehicles, and manpower. At the same time, the Kremlin has leaned harder on its nuclear arsenal as a deterrent signal, not just to Ukraine, but to NATO and the West. There's also the treaty collapse. Since 2020, there have been no on-site nuclear inspections between the US and Russia. The guardrails that once limited mistrust are gone, replaced by distance and suspicion. On top of that, Russia has adjusted its nuclear doctrine, signaling a lower threshold for use under certain conditions. That doesn't mean launch is imminent, but it does mean nuclear weapons now play a more central role in strategy than they did a decade ago. Experts largely agree that this modernization replaces aging Soviet-era systems, but the scale, the speed, and the secrecy have triggered alarms. When upgrades stop being incremental and start becoming transformational, people pay attention. And that's exactly what's happening now. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Russia's strategic missile forces see themselves as the last resort, the final option when everything else fails. Their official motto says it all: after us, silence. These silo-based warheads aren't meant to be used casually. Their power is psychological. They exist to make sure no enemy ever believes a first strike would go unanswered. That's why going underground matters so much. Buried systems survive. They guarantee second strike capability. They deter through invisibility. And the deeper, more autonomous they become, the harder they are to neutralize. But the leak changes the equation. Those blueprints don't destroy the bases, but they expose them. And now Russia may be forced to redesign, reroute, or reinforce systems at massive cost, simply because secrecy failed. And when nuclear infrastructure becomes less predictable, escalation risks don't go down. They rise, and what was once invisible beneath the earth is now laid bare in blueprints and satellite frames. Russia isn't just upgrading weapons, it's engineering survival below the surface. These underground systems aren't built for headlines or parades. They're built for the day everything else fails. So what do you make of it? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if this breakdown helped you see the bigger picture, hit like and subscribe. There's more coming.